Hey everybody, my name is Tori Brame and this is Holy City Mystic. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to start a new series on Yods. So today we're going to focus on what it means to have the Yod in the first house, the apex of the Yod in the first house. Now this gets a little bit tricky because depending on what house system you use, you might not have the Yod in the exact quincunxing houses, if that makes sense. So what can happen if you're a certain distance away from the equator, either north or south, is if you use some kind of quadrant-based house system like Placidus or Koch, then you will have houses that are kind of skewed. So say you're born in northern Michigan in the wintertime. You might have a third house that spans 3 signs, and you may have one sign that has 3 houses within it. So if you're using that kind of system, it can be kind of tricky. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use whole sign for this. So if you have your apex of your Yod in your first house, I am assuming that you're going to have both the bases in the 8th house and in the 6th house. Now, if this is not true for you, you will just have to wing it. You will just have to look at each one because I'm going to label this video with the first and then bases in the 6th and 8th. So if you do have a Yod with an apex in the first, but then you have one base in the 5th and then another base in the 7th, just because of the house system you are using, you're gonna have to go through and watch those videos. So it's not gonna be a perfect science, but this is what I have to work with. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I also don't believe in making super long videos for the sake of making super long videos. So if I get this done in like 2 minutes, this is gonna be a 2-minute video. So your apex of your Yod is in your first house. This shows a very definite destiny line to your first house. What is your first house? It is the body, the self, how you look, how you present yourself, how you walk. All these things are in your first house. It is you as a person. So that is where the apex is. That is where all the energy is being channeled. That means your 2 bases, again, using whole sign, this is going to be different if you are on a weird latitude and you have a different house system. Your bases are going to be in your 6th house and in your 8th house. Now your 6th house has to do with what you produce. It has to do with your daily habits, the work that you do every day, pets, health, everything like that. It's like the day-to-day events that accumulate into something bigger. It's like all the little steps on the journey. So that is one of the bases. The second base would be in your 8th house. Your 8th house, I kind of view it as other people's stuff. So it has to do with sex, debt, law, secrets, things like that. Things that are not just yours. They're kind of somebody else's too, or they're completely somebody else's. So when 2 houses are quincunxed, that means that they really can't see each other. They're known as an inconjunct, where they do not share a mode or an element. And I was kind of thinking about this earlier and how I was going to describe this. And it's kind of like if you've ever had a dream where you're going through the entire dream, you know exactly what's going on, and then at some point you realize your eyes aren't open. And you're really trying to focus on opening your eyes because you can't see what's in front of you. I have these a lot, like where I'm dreaming about that I'm driving or something like that, or like somebody's trying to hand something to me and I'm doing the best I can to like open my eyes and see it. That's kind of what it's like. The first house is quincunxed exactly to the 6th house and the 8th house. Who I am has nothing to do with the stuff that I do every single day. Like that's just stuff. That's just minutia. That's just the things that I have to do to be a functioning human being. And then you look over at the 8th house, who I am as a person has nothing to do with the debt I have or who I have sex with or the secrets that belong to somebody else. Anything like that. That has nothing to do with who I am as a person. That's just other people's stuff. That's other people's stuff over there. So if you have 2 base planets, anchoring those houses down, because if you have planets in any single sign in your chart, that is going to bring that sign to life in a new way that empty signs won't have. You'll still have action happening in all 12 signs, but if you have something in there in your birth chart, there is a special message that you are going to carry with you for your entire lifetime. So if you have 2 base planets anchoring down the 6th house and the 8th house, they're quincunxed to the 1st house. where they cannot see the first house. They do not understand the first house. They get each other. They understand what's going on there, but they do not see the first house. And so the lessons that might come out of having this arrangement are being who you are. Never being comfortable with how you look or how you present yourself, or maybe who you are. Maybe you have a gender identity that is not one that you were born with, or not one that you were taught that you had. Maybe you look a certain way and you've never been comfortable with it and you just want to change it. Or maybe everybody around you wanted to change how you looked, but you liked it. You were born with it and you liked it and you never wanted to change that about yourself. And so when it comes to this personality, when it comes to who you are as a person, your body, yourself, everything that is the first house, what you are going to learn over this lifetime is how to make peace with that. How to be so fearlessly, genuinely yourself that no one can ever take that away from you. And after a while, nobody even tries. Or if they do try, you don't even notice because you have so much self-love and acceptance and confidence in this that you just go forward knowing in your very soul that you are exactly who you were always meant to be. So with the apex in the first house, it doesn't really matter about the bases where they are. That's going to give you a little bit more information, but the outcome is always going to be first house because that is where the apex is. I hope all that made sense for you guys. If you guys have any questions, please drop them below. If you do have a yod with an apex in the first house, please let me know. I so enjoy seeing these, and thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.